Okay, today I'm going over multiplying polynomials. We had done some of this in 7th grade, and now we're expanding a little bit when I multiply a binomial times a binomial. So let's take a look at the first example, 5b times b plus 3. This is a monomial being multiplied by a binomial. So we learned last year we are going to multiply 5b times b, and I get 5b squared. And then I multiply 5b times a positive 3, and I get a positive 15b. This is called the distributive property. What happens with the next example is now I have a little bit of an issue. This is a binomial, 2 terms, and that binomial is now going to be multiplied by another binomial. So what we have seen in our modules is I am going to now take the 5b plus 1 and multiply it by the b. And then I have to take the 5b plus 1 and multiply it by the 3. So this is what we had seen so far. There are 2 ways that we can do this, and I am going to model both ways for you today. The first way is called using a diagram. A diagram is a visual, so we're actually going to draw a picture. So what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at my first binomial. My first binomial is 6p plus 8. So I'm going to draw 2 boxes. My next binomial I'm going to put on the left-hand side, 5p minus 8. And again, I'm going to draw 2 boxes. So notice I have a 4 by 4 box. Now what we are going to do is multiply those boxes together. So in the first example, 5p times 6p is 30p squared. Now I'm going to multiply the next box. 5p times a positive 8 is plus 40p. Please show me the sign. Now let's look down at the next box. Negative 8 times 6p is negative 48p. And negative 8 times a positive 8 is a negative 64. So when I multiply a binomial with another binomial, I end up with 4 terms. However, when I go to write my final answer, let us combine any terms that are alike. If you notice, I have a positive 40p and a negative 48p that I can combine. So when I write out my final answer, I have 30p squared. A positive 40 combined with a negative 48 is negative 8p minus 64. Make sure you are in standard form. I go from the highest exponent down to the lowest, and I am. Let us model one more just to make sure we have this correct. So again, I'm using a diagram. That's what the directions ask me to do. My first binomial is 3m minus 1. My next binomial is 8m plus 7. So I'm able to draw myself that 4 by 4 box. Now let us start to multiply. 8m times 3m is 24m squared. 8m times negative 1 is negative 8m. Positive 7 times 3m is positive 21m. And a positive 7 times a negative 1 is negative 7. Now let us eyeball. Can I combine any like terms? And I'm going to notice that my m's are alike. So what am I left with? 24m squared. When I combine a negative 8m with a positive 21m, I get plus 13m minus 7. Eyeball again to make sure you are in standard form, and we are. This is using a diagram, also called the box method, because it resembles a box. Now, when I have a question like number 13, 4p minus 1, and that entire quantity is squared, please do me a really big favor and write it twice. You're going to hear me say this all of the time. So this really means 4p minus 1 times 4p minus 1. And then you could use the box method, your 4 by 4 box, to then multiply that out. But if you do not write it twice and just distribute that exponent, you will not get the correct answer. You have to write that out twice. Another method that I can do to multiply a binomial with a binomial is called double distribution. I am going to distribute the 2a to the 8a and the negative 5, and then I distribute the negative 1 to the 8a and the negative 5. So this is called double distribution because it's a binomial. And the acronym that you are going to hear is called FOIL. F-O-I-L. FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, and last. Okay, so let's see how this is done. I have 2a minus 1 times 8a minus 5. I am first going to look at my first term of the binomial and multiply it by the first term of the second binomial, hence the letter F. First, 2a times 8a is 16a squared. Now I'm looking at the outermost terms. So my outermost terms are going to be my outside terms. 2a times the negative 5. 2a times negative 5 is negative 10a. That is my outer. Now let's take a look at the inner terms. The inside terms is the negative 1 times the 8a. I get negative 8a. And then the last term of the binomial multiplied by the last term of the second binomial. Negative 1 times a negative 5 is a positive 5. And that's using double distribution. So now again, you have to eyeball, combine your like terms. Negative 10a can be combined with the negative 8a. And I'm left with 16a squared minus 18a plus 5. Again, make sure you're in standard form, and I am. Let's try the other one. 5n plus 6 times 5n minus 5. Let us use the double distribution. FOIL. First, 5n times 5n, 25n squared. Outer, 5n times negative 5, negative 25n. Inner, positive 6 times 5n is plus 30n. Last, positive 6 times a negative 5 is negative 30. Let us now combine my like terms. My final answer is going to be 25n squared plus 5n minus 30. And I'm written in standard form. So these are the two ways to model how to multiply a binomial times a binomial. Now what happens when I have a binomial being multiplied by a trinomial? So it's no different, it's just a difference in how I draw my diagram. So for number 19, I'm asking you to do a diagram. So I have 4a plus 2. I'm going to have two columns. Now when I look, I'm going to have 6a squared minus a plus 2. So my box now is going to be a 2 by 3 box. A little bit different than the last one, only because I have a trinomial now. You're still going to multiply these numbers together. 6a squared times 4a is 24a cubed. 6a squared times a positive 2 is plus 12a squared. Negative a times 4a is negative 4a squared. Negative a times a positive 2 is negative 2a. Positive 2 times 4a is plus plus 8a. And a positive 2 times a positive 2 is a positive 4. So let us now eyeball and see what terms can I combine. I have 2a squareds, and I have 2a's that can be combined. So my final answer when I write it in standard form is 24a cubed. Positive 12 combined with a negative 4 is plus 8a squared. 8a combined with a negative 2 is plus 6a plus 4. And that is using the box method or the diagram. Let us do the same exact problem now using distribution. 4a plus 2, and I'm multiplying it by 6a squared minus a plus 2. So I can't really use FOIL because FOIL only stands for, when I have a binomial times a binomial, but the concept is the same. I'm going to multiply 4a by every term in that trinomial. So 4a times 6a squared is 24a cubed. 4a times a negative a is negative 4a squared. And 4a times a positive 2 is plus 8a. I distributed that 4a to every term in that trinomial. Now I have to do the same thing with the positive 2. 2 times 6a squared is plus 12a squared. Positive 2 times a negative a is negative 2a. And a positive 2 times a positive 2 is plus 4. Now I need to combine all of my like terms. So my first term here, 24a cubed, is all by itself, 24a cubed. I'm going to combine a negative 4a squared with a positive 12a squared, and I'm going to get a positive 8a squared. I am now going to combine a positive 8a with a negative 2a, and I get plus 6a, and then finally my constant plus 4. I am in standard form, and notice both of these answers are equivalent. I should have come up with the same answer. One way I used the box method or the diagram, another way I distributed, and I was able to then get the same answer. Which method do you like better? You can use whatever method is best for you unless I specify to use a diagram. Okay, if I specify to use a diagram, you have to show me the visual. Otherwise, you could use whichever method you like. Just make sure you always combine like terms and you write your answer in standard form.